This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Dr. Doug Smith, and this is our daily podcast, Monday through Thursday at 1 o'clock. Thank all of you for joining us. Please like us and subscribe. We're trying to grow this. This is where you will hear the truth. This is where you will hear science. This is where you will hear what actually happened with the opioids. This is a place for science. Now, yesterday we looked at the data from the American Heart Association, and specifically we zeroed in on the year 2019, okay, because that was the last year of data before COVID, okay, and what we saw was that cardiovascular deaths had just exploded in parallel with the opioid crisis. This has been completely missed by the CDC, the FDA, all the public health officials. They've completely missed this. Okay, but the data is right there in front of you. Okay, and we've extrapolated that data to get an estimate of how many deaths we think there are, and we think there have been in excess of 3 million deaths. Now, you can get a ruler and a pen and paper, and you can do your own extrapolation. You can come up with your own numbers, but it's about 3 million people. Okay, and that's from what's called extrapolation. Okay, you take the line on the graph and you with a straight edge, and you look at where it was supposed to be and where it is, and you figure out the difference, and that's how you figure out how many people have died needlessly, and we feel it's about 3 million. Now, we also showed you yesterday the study from Mehta, M-E-H-T-A, Dr. Mehta, from March of 2020, right before COVID started, that talked about a fall. Actually, they called it a stall, not a fall, but a stall in U.S. life expectancy. Okay, and that this stall in U.S. life expectancy wasn't because of drug overdoses, and COVID hadn't happened yet. So this stall in U.S. life expectancy was due to cardiovascular deaths. People, why all of a sudden in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, why all of a sudden would we have out of nowhere a sudden epidemic of cardiovascular deaths? Now, we know the answer because we know that the opioids cause genetic damage, and that this genetic damage resulted in a loss of control of the organ systems. And one of the systems that people lost control of was the adrenal gland. And if you lose control of your adrenal gland, you get a bunch of adrenaline, and adrenaline will kill you with the cardiovascular death, heart attack, stroke, ruptured aorta, something like that. So we weren't surprised. But now, people, this is what I want to show you today. Okay, take a look at what's on the screen here today. Okay, take a real close look at that. Okay, all of a sudden, a couple of years later, U.S. life expectancy goes back up. Pulled this off of the NBC website. Okay, U.S. life expectancy goes back up. So in 2020, it was going down. In 2024, it's going back up. People, why in the world would U.S. life expectancy change that much that fast? Life expectancy doesn't change like that. Now, you've heard nothing about this, which is absolutely amazing. Okay, U.S. life expectancy doesn't yank around like that. It doesn't fall and then go back up in a matter of months. What, all of a sudden everybody went and got fast food and then they quit? I mean, no. Okay, the only way you're going to see a fall and then a rise in U.S. life expectancy like that is if a population within the population, a group of people, develop something that was stunningly dangerous and poisonous and deadly. Okay, otherwise you don't see movements like that. It's impossible. Okay, so there had to be a subpopulation of people, and in this case, it was the people who had the genetic damage from the opioids, and basically what happened is a bunch of them died off. They're dead. Okay, why did U.S. life expectancy go back up? Because 3 million people had died. Why did U.S. life expectancy go back up on the screen that you see right here in front of you? Because 3 million people who were genetically damaged by the opioids were dead. Okay, they're already dead. You can't die twice. By the way, if you catch right here, I chose this graphic for a purpose. You also see a little blurb. Oh, hey, great news. Opioid overdose deaths are going down. Of course they're going down. 3 million people are dead. The people who were genetically damaged, 3 million of them are dead. And you're putting it on your website as if it was something to be celebrated. Okay, those were members of our communities. Those were mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, neighbors, friends. And here you are, NBC, and you're putting it up on your website like it was something to be celebrated. Drug overdoses are down. Yeah, well, they're down for the worst possible reason you could ever imagine. 3 million of the people who were out buying heroin, were out buying fentanyl, they're dead. They're not out buying heroin anymore. They're not out buying fentanyl anymore. They died of adrenaline toxicity. They died of their own bodies killed them. They were misdiagnosed with something called opioid addiction, opioid use disorder, as if the psychiatrist knew what was going on. They don't. The psychiatrist completely missed the genetic damage. It's there. Go look at our scientific evidence. It's there. It's not that hard to understand. Psychiatrists just chose to ignore it. Okay. And once you're genetically damaged, it's pretty clear that you lose control of your organ systems. One of the systems you lose control of is the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland will put out enough adrenaline to kill you. Okay. This isn't rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's DNA science. It's genetic science. In this case, it's adrenaline science. So, that's what I wanted to show today. And the take-home message here, people, and this is we'll end with this today. The take-home message here is, hey, those of you with a brain, those of you who pay attention, those of you who think, life expectancy doesn't whip around like that. Life expectancy doesn't fall and rise that quickly. What we saw was a sudden fall in life expectancy, and then here we're seeing life expectancy going back to normal. Well, when you see that, if you got half a brain, you will search for the population that's been impacted. Okay, that came from a segment of the population suffering something stunningly deadly. Okay, in this case, it was genetic poisoning from the opioids. Okay, so those of you who are really searching for the answers here, okay, take a look at this sudden fall in U.S. life expectancy, sudden return in U.S. life expectancy. Take a look at that, okay, because that's a huge clue. Okay, now they're all running around patting each other on the back, and then what they're saying here is, and you can see it right here in front of you. Okay, well, the COVID deaths, we got COVID under control. COVID wasn't the problem, guys. COVID deaths were only 1 million. Okay, COVID deaths weren't enough to drop U.S. life expectancy. The people that died from adrenaline toxicity, we're talking about 3 million. That's what it took to move the meter. That's what it took to be have a drop and have a death so large that we could pick it up on U.S. life expectancy. COVID only had 1 million people. We're already talking about 3 million with the opioids. Okay, so we'll hold there today. Okay, and I hope you guys are realizing you're seeing the real science here. Okay, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm showing it to you. Okay, get out on Google and look around and Google U.S. life expectancy. And Google how U.S. life expectancy went down and then it came back up. And look at their explanations, of which there are none, COVID. Okay, and look at the fact that there's a fall in drug overdose deaths, and they're all taking credit for it. They're going to dislocate their shoulders, patting themselves on the back, taking credit for this. Okay, no, they don't deserve credit for it. They didn't do it. U.S. life expectancy is increasing because 3 million people are dead. U.S. drug overdoses are decreasing because 3 million people are dead. That's what happened here. My name is Dr. Doug Smith. We'll be back here again tomorrow. We will continue this dialogue. We try to keep it short every day. Just give a little something for our people to think about every day. Please post this on your social media and post it on everybody else's social media. Let's get this out there. Okay, this is the science. This is the truth. Let's get it out there. There's a lot of people out there that need our help, and we got to get to them. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.